Today's podcast is on IS 38 intangible assets. Getting into the topic, first definition: an intangible asset is defined as an identifiable non-monetary asset without physical substance. Examples of intangible assets include goodwill acquired in a business combination, computer software, patents, copyright, motion picture films, customer list, mortgage servicing rights, license, import quotas, franchises, customer and supplier relationships, marketing rights. Recognition criteria. An entity should recognize an intangible asset if all the following criteria are met. There are 4 criteria requirement. The first, asset is identifiable. Second is, asset is controlled by the entity. Third, asset will generate future economic benefits for the entity. And fourth, the last, the cost of asset can be measured reliably. Now, an intangible asset is identifiable if it is separable. Okay? Separable means capable of being separated and sold, transferred, licensed, rented, or exchanged either individually or as a part of package, or arise from the contractual or other legal rights, regardless of whether those rights are transferable or separable from the entity or from the other rights and obligations. If an intangible asset does not meet the recognition criteria, expenditure should be charged to the statement of profit or loss as it is incurred. Once the expenditure has been so charged, it cannot be capitalized at a later date. Note that the accounting treatment of goodwill arising on a business combination is dealt with in the IFRS 3 business combination rather than IS 38 intangible assets. Now, initial recognition. When an intangible asset is initially recognized, it is measured at cost. So, intangible assets are initially recognized or measured at cost. Subsequent recognition. After recognition, an entity may choose either the cost model or the revaluation model for each class of intangible assets. Cost model. The cost model measures the asset at cost less the accumulated amortization and impairment. Revaluation model. The revaluation model measures the asset as the fair value less the accumulated amortization and impairment. The revaluation model can only be adopted if the fair value can be determined by the reference to an active market. An active market is one where the products are homogeneous. There are willing buyers and sellers to be found at all times, and the prices are available to the public. So, active market is a open market for where there is homogeneous similar products in the market. Buyer and seller are willing to buy all the times, and prices are available to the public. So only fair value model can be adopted in that scenario. Active market for intangible assets are rare. They may exist for assets such as milk quotas, stock exchange seats. Active markets are unlikely to exist for brands, newspaper, mastheads, music, film publishing rights, patents, or trademarks. Revaluation should be made with sufficient regularity such as the carrying amount does not differ materially from the actual fair value at the reporting date. Revaluation gain or loss are accounted in the same way as a revaluation gain or loss of tangible assets held in accordance with IS 16 property, plant and equipment. Amortization. An entity must assess whether the useful life of intangible asset is finite or indefinite. An asset with a finite useful life must be amortized on a systematic basis over that life. Normally, the straight line method with a zero residual value should be used. Amortization starts when asset is available for use. When an asset has indefinite useful life, there is no foreseeable limit to the period over which asset is expected to generate net cash inflow. It should not be amortized but should be subject to an annual impairment review. One of the most important topic of this standard IS 38 intangible asset is research and development expenditure. Research is defined as original planned investigation undertaken with the prospect of gaining new scientific or technical knowledge and understanding. So it's a planned investigation done in order to gain knowledge, new scientific or technical knowledge and understanding. So knowledge and understanding. Research expenditure cannot be recognized as intangible asset, although tangible assets used in research should be recognized as property, plant and equipment. Development is defined as the application of research findings or other knowledge to a plan or design for the production of new or substantially improved material, devices, product, process, system or service before the start of commercial production or use. IS 38 says that development expenditure must be recognized as an intangible asset if entity can demonstrate that. There are 5 requirements for the capitalization of development expenditure. First is the project is technically feasible. Second is entity intends to complete the intangible asset and then use it or sell it. Means company is going intended means there is an intention to complete and later is going to use the product asset or sell it. And third is intangible asset will generate future economic benefits. Fourth, it has adequate resources to complete the project, and fifth, it can be reliably measure the expenditure on the project. So the 5 criteria for the development expenditure to be recognized an intangible asset are technically feasible, intention to complete and later use and sell. Third, future, it is probable that it will generate future economic benefit. Fourth, adequate resources to complete, and fifth, expenses reliably measured. So these are the 5 criteria. Disclosures. IS 38 states that an entity must disclose the amount of research and development expenditure expensed in the period. Amortization method used for intangible assets assist having indefinite useful life, the reason supporting that assessment, the date of revaluation if applicable, as well as the method and assumption used, a reconciliation of the carrying amount of intangible asset at the beginning and the end of the reporting period. So this is the end of the standard IS 38 intangible assets.